Go.
Clicking go live
Good.
and we're live. Hi guys.
Hello.
There you go. Welcome back, guys. 30 viewers, 26 likes. Hit the like button.
Just us two today. Oh my goodness, we haven't got a captain, two captains. Only one captain today. It's cool here today, Stuart. It's weird. So used to it being too hot. Now my body's like, oh, you're a bit cold. It's like, no, enjoy it. Don't do that. Body just.
It's like it's some cold days like 2 or 3 days ago. Kind of cold. So yeah, it's all migrating over to you guys.
It's nice. It's nice. It made filming today a lot easier.
I'll send more your way then.
Thank you. No, I like that. No, it made the. We filmed a lot this morning. A lot of things and bobs. Not this. Similar, but not actually this. So a lot of fun stuff coming over from Saturday, I guess, until Tuesday. Yeah, until math. So that's fun. So enjoy some, or expect some videos to come up real soon, guys. Real soon.
Lots of good videos coming out. But thank you for joining us. Like I said, hit that like button if you haven't already.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about alternate realities, alternate timelines, alternate universes, parallel universes, weird things.
Yes.
That's what we do.
And I will start sharing.
Go for it. Do it. All right, guys. You know the routine. If you want to help us on a monthly basis, you can click that join button down below. Make sure you're subscribed as well. Make sure the subscribe button is not red, because if it is, it's a red alert. It means you have not hit it. So hit that. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make that blue. Would really appreciate that. And if you want to super chat your thoughts, your ideas, your theories, your comments, your what you'd like to see, your expectations, whatever, please do so, because it kind of steers our conversation and helps us, shows your support for the channel, so we really appreciate that. Also, there's the links down below to all the relevant cool things, such as the Teespring store and the TeePublic store, which is our new store. A lot of people buying shirts, Trekyards shirts. There's a lot of good stuff there, so check those out. And if you want to send us a PayPal, you can do that as well. PayPal goes to trekyards@hotmail.com. Just let us know in the chat that you've actually sent one, and we will read your comment or question via the email from PayPal, so you guys can still get your voice heard out there that way as well. So lots of ways to support and help us out. Also, there's links down there for Eagle Moss and discount codes and things like that. So if you want to check those out as well, we'd really appreciate it, because it does, as I said, help us out. There's no time to argue about time. Yes. Matt Borman says Brian Fuller had always been working under the people who controlled him. Controlled his crazy. But once he was given the reins, went off the deep end. They spent all that money on it, and so CBS had to go with it. Yeah, sad state of affairs there. But yeah, guys, like I said, if you can support us just by hitting that like button is a great way to do it. Just showing your support. Excuse me. Any way you can. Liking, subscribing, making sure that you've hit the notification bell icon, and also if you can super chat, that'd be fantastic. I don't know what specifically we're going to be talking about today. Some ideas, some thoughts about this mirror universe. Alternate reality type thing we got going on in season 2 of Picard. A lot of people have said it's been done to death, and it kind of has been. We'll see how they handle it, though. It could be really good, it could be really bad. So far, season 1 of Picard didn't impress us overly much, but season 2 is looking promising so far, so we are looking forward to it. Hello, Raj. How's it going? Alistair gave my like before the stream even started. Hope you're both feeling well today. Well, thank you very much, Alistair. Yeah, the likes anytime help, even if you're watching this in replay. We really appreciate it. Wow, CJ O'Neill puts in $20.
Boom.
And all his comment says is support. Thank you. We appreciate that. You're like the bra that holds Trekyards up. Support.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I am not wrong.
I'm not
We're
gonna say
two
you're
tits.
right, but
We're two tits, and
Oh.
you're holding us up with your support.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I wasn't expecting you to say that exactly, but okay.
So you were wrong.
Anyway, probably, it happens once in a while.
Once in a while.
Anyway, so yeah, we're going to talk about alternate realities, timelines, all that jazz. We'll see what we can come up with. By all means, put your thoughts in, your ideas, your theories, your comments, what you want to see, your expectations, all that jazz. You can kind of steer the conversation with the super chats and stuff. We really appreciate that. And yeah, let's get into it.
Now, it put in the chat though, guys. Very early on in this process, this became an obvious fact to us. We've already moved past that into that's just what's happening. Would you guys agree with us? I mean, is there hints? I'm not sure what else it could be necessarily, but I think overwhelming evidence suggests that is the plotline they're going for in season 2. Time is broken, therefore alternate reality. Very much the SS Enterprise approach. There's not much, apart from obviously they have the memories, etc., etc. But would you guys agree? I mean, or are we barking up a wrong tree straight from the offset?
See, I think what they're doing for season 2 is the all good things approach, but they're stretching it over a season.
Yep.
Or even the episode parallels approach. Just stretching it over a whole season, which maybe might not even be the whole season. It might only be 4 or 5 episodes out of the total 10 or whatever. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, because everybody's well aware that they don't belong there. It's not like the whole universe changed and they just changed with it.
Now
They've
it's
been
up
thrust
to Picard to save the day, or Elmo,
Yeah.
or only one of them.
Yeah, they've been thrust into this thing, and they're all well aware that things aren't what they're supposed to be. So,
which is a good way of having that spin, because yes, the Enterprise was fun because they fully committed to the bit, and in the last minute it all kind of shifts. But it then Parallels is it gets very not disjointed, but it gets very bitty as you get to the end because they keep shifting things and bobs. So we've not really had this approach of the universes are different. Everyone else knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly I like what you said there, because if you think about, at least for me anyway, Yes Enterprise, All Good Things, and Parallels are 3 of the best episodes of TNG.
Yeah, I would say so.
Like top 20, probably, if not most of them lower than that, or higher than that.
Yeah.
So if you're going to make a season, those are certainly strong ones to pull from, and they're all very Star Trek themes, or very sci-fi themes. It's a lot safer than time travel because you're not changing reality, and you can make all the mistakes you want with Discovery shuttles, and we can't call you out on it. Because that's the thing, isn't it? Once they break into a different canon, we'll actually have less to talk about from a standpoint of what do they get right or wrong, because it'll all be fresh. So they get to have their cake and eat it too. They get to have a Trek that doesn't feel like our Trek, while still using our characters. And in season 1, they help to navigate our characters away from their classic versions. Picard barely feels like Picard anymore. 7 barely feels like 7 anymore. So maybe in their great plan, season 1 is about breaking the characters down into something different. So in season 2 is taking those different versions of our characters into some other universe.
Yeah.
It's not ideal, really, when you like the original characters and the original timeline. But that's what Strange New World is for, maybe.
Yeah. Jonathan Alvarez, I think Cisco is going to play a big part since we saw the stone tablet from the first teaser. The wormhole aliens might. I'm not sure Cisco... everybody keeps throwing Cisco around, and that would be fantastic. But the problem is, I don't think Avery Brooks will be coming back. And you don't want to recast Cisco, although you could, because he's a wormhole alien, so he could come back as anything, I guess. But the tablet was a big a big Easter egg or reveal for that teaser trailer, I guess. So,
but it's a Par Wraith connection, not a Cisco wormhole alien, specifically.
But it was the tablet of the Prophet or something, if I recall correctly. So, and that was, or the tablet of the emissary, something. It was something having to do with Cisco, that tablet. So, but
that could also be maybe, and this just came to me. What if one of their ideas of trying to get back to their reality is using the wormhole? Because they've done that before, the mirror episodes, and that would be a really easy way of actually taking them to a different version of Deep Space Nine, which means they could then design a new Deep Space Nine and not complain with fans, but still get the name recognition of, we went to DS9, like free cloud, but DS9, and but then obviously you need to have the payoff of seeing the real DS9. But then imagine that if at the end of the season they do manage to go through the wormhole, which obviously has been also been visually updated, and they come back at the wormhole and they say real DS9. Like, that sort of payoff would be very strong. And then Kira's on the other end and is like, "Hi, this is Captain Kira." It's like, "Oh my god, you're on green screen. This is amazing."
I was just gonna say, I mean, do you really want to see a new Deep Space Nine with Doug Drexler working in the production department? Because he designed that atrocious Deep Space Nine for the.
Well, no, he made Andrew Probert design it that way.
Yeah.
Based on very specific things they wrote in the book, because the book wrote descriptions first. So I had a discussion with someone about this recently. So it was the book that described it. Andrew had to design it. Doug had to supervise it and change things, and then Doug had Deg build it. And then once Deg built it, it was still not great. But yeah, I don't think for a second Avery will be back. I mean, obviously, you pay him enough, anyone will come back. That's obviously the case if they really want to throw money at him. But I don't know if he's even able to mentally do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that said, though, the Babylon 5 original season 1 actor had like massive mental schizophrenia sort of problems, and he was able to, able to hide it, quote unquote. So I mean, okay, maybe, but it's bad enough when they hurt their own legends. Obviously having Kate Mulgrew as Janeway, it's not really Janeway, so they can have fun with that, and it's all good. It's all good. They can't ruin Janeway's legacy. It's fine. But to bring in Sisko as well, and especially God Sisko, like, I just think that's the end of the road for that character. Now you could go into the past and see Sisko, then you've got even more problems with an older actor playing a younger character who also can't necessarily act anymore. Because that's what I would do if I was doing. I'd do a de-aged Sisko if we knew he was coming back, because then you could go back into the past. But I always like go back into the past, so you know me, Stuart.
Yes. Dan23 says, reminds me of Harry Kim waking up on Earth. Yes, it's the same kind of vibe as well. Tying in with those other episodes we mentioned. So we got a super chat from Squadra Course of $2. Here's some change for you, the good kind. LOL.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's funny. Good play on words there. We don't like our universe to change, but change in the pocket is always good. Trekkie Badger, £4. Season 1 was terrible. We've been let down before. Sad. Yeah, we kind of felt the same way about season 1. One of our least favorite of all the new Trek. So hopefully they will redeem themselves, though. As we saw with Discovery, there was course corrections and changes made through all the seasons, and season 3 was pretty good, and on a pretty good note. So
it does. Now I've heard this in the dark, deep rumblings of the writers' world. It helps when you plan a season before you start making it.
No way. Even if I'm going to write a story,
Yep.
I need to know the beginning, the middle, and the end. Then I can start writing. Is that a thing?
Look. I was sworn to secrecy, and there's only 100 people here, plus you. Who knows? And that season was clearly all written. Clearly. And it feels it, and it feels very, very constructed, but you want that. It's a good mystery. And Picard, all he shows except Lower Decks had an extra year standstill, right? Mm-hmm. If Picard isn't the most refined, crisp, proofread script, because you can tell in Picard when a script has been under proofread, you can just tell this portion of this script, this episode, has been like second draft only. Need another few more drafts. So if they haven't got a good, well-built story now, having a bonus year of R&D, that would be shocking, because they literally have nothing else to do. If you're hired on Picard, you couldn't film it, you're still hired on Picard, you're still working on Picard, that's your only job this year. Keep making the scripts better. Write seasons 3 and 4, etc., which they obviously did. Write seasons up to 3, so...
Yeah. Sergeant Montgomery says they could use Avery Brooks' voice in some wispy CGI. Actually, they could. Voice dialogue would be probably a lot easier to obtain.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, they did that in Star Trek Online, actually. Which I went down a rabbit hole and found they used some cameos of legends without actually having to use their real performances. Like, they had Brent Spiner as Data, but it was just a Data avatar where you see sort of the side of his head and the back of his body, like enough to sort of say, look, it's a... And so they had a Avery Brooks cameo where they just reused Kira, you know, like a half a line in a muffled tone. It's like, oh, yeah, I guess that's Avery Brooks. But
Yeah.
you know, they own all the,
Yep.
all the. You know, if you're clever, I mean, I did that for Temporal Anomaly. I made a whole new scene based on dialogue from other episodes, so it is possible.
Yep. Great Nemesis says it would be cool if they used the change in the timeline for the creation of the temporal agents and the development of the time travel like Enterprise did for the Federation. We kind of get the idea that Picard's going to tie into the Discovery universe some way. And Discovery Season 3, we did get the temporal agent that was from the TNG version of the Kelvin timeline. So maybe I wouldn't have an issue with that, actually, if it was done well. But again, who's to say? Matthew K. No matter how off you guys may be with some stuff like this, what you come up with is always great. Well, thank you. Our theories and speculations are always better than what they actually come up with, Samuel. You know that.
Yeah. I mean, it just well, often when they're doing these big, broad-idea story things, they can sometimes get lost in the weeds, or lost in a direction, or so actually having the ability to sort of think as you go is quite unusual. It's all hindsight, you know. Once you review episode 2, we've already finished filming episode 9. You know what I mean. So it's sort of beyond the point of changing things at the time of release and seeing it.
And Angel Baby Cards. First time seeing you here. I saw a lot of your comments earlier before we started the live, so thank you for joining us. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Notice how nobody knows how to commit to an appropriate direction lately. Well, I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Season 1 of Discovery was definitely always shifting directions, but that's because they kept changing things mid-season a few times when they changed showrunners and stuff, from the original concept to, you know, what the new person, whoever it was that came in, and then they got fired. So they were shifting a lot. You see it with movies too, where they changed directors. Solo was a perfect example. They had 85% of the movie filmed, and then they fired the guys and brought in Ron Howard, who had to refilm most of it. So
it was a comedy, then it wasn't.
You can tell it's very disjointed, yeah.
Although I still like Solo.
I did too.
It just wasn't very ambitious in the sense of like doing unusual things.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't want ambition necessarily. So.
Yeah. And everybody's saying that they're breaking records with heat in Arizona and stuff. Over 125 degrees. Oof. Wow.
It's amazing how they can keep breaking records even though... Please stop being extra bonus hot. Jeez. But I certainly think they're going to ignore Season 1's plot for the most part and just move in. And I do think that time jump is going to happen. We're going to see Picard on the podium, have a time jump, have some stuff going on, maybe even something they do. I mean, I don't know, obviously, well, we have no idea anything, but wouldn't it be interesting if... Because Picard had a 3-episode pre-start. I think everyone agrees 3 was a mistake to win the 2, as originally intended. We wouldn't have got the flashback then, which is one of the best scenes in the entire series. Blair. But imagine if we actually had, in a similar vein, the first 50-minute episode is a full, like, background one. Because we've got to assume that some people don't watch the trailer, right? A lot of people, I'm sure, and some people forget, some people don't notice it. So they can't assume that most people are going to watch episode 1 and think, oh yeah, it's parallel universe, when's it coming in? So you've still got to approach as if no one knows. So it's still a reveal even though they've given it away, which is fine. So it would be fun if then episode 1 is all about setting up something, X, Y, B, or Z, which then causes the temporal shift. We saw how easy it was in in yesterday's Enterprise. Like, it doesn't need to be a malicious force. It can still be something very small.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe even something as simple as maybe they're trying time travel, and they pull a character from the past into the present as an experiment, see if they can, and their amount of time changes all of history, and they don't realize that's going to happen because they haven't done it before. But it changes time, and now the universe is different. And then Q's like, "Oh, F this," and he, gives everyone the correct memories, and all of a sudden they're all on this great mission, and Vumph, we lost it a bit. Kind of like Orville, actually. If you remember Orville with Kelly's wish, when she changed time, and then the universe got blowed up, basically, and then we suddenly had an alternate. So yeah, they're just doing Orville season 2 episode 13, I guess, or 10, which was great.
I'll have to go back and refresh my memory on those Orville episodes, but yeah.
Yeah.
Sharp 2026 puts in 450 euros. Hopefully, season 1 was the alternative universe.
Yeah.
Well, at least tied in with the Kelvin stuff or the Discovery stuff. I mean, because saw some visual Discovery things there. So,
well, they could do every season is a retconnable event, to help tie things together, to fix things, etc. Yeah.
Disco is canon. Sure, if you say so, Sven. Matt Borman, I would imagine that the Picard team has heard a lot of what people didn't like about it. Well, I would hope so. I hope they're listening and paying attention, yes.
And this is obviously the big problem, though, because everyone has their own opinion. And certainly if I was a producer, and obviously I do produce my own Star Trek indie stuff, and so I'm blessed that Long Way From Home got such positive reviews and very few negative comments. In fact, it was astoundingly positive. And I don't ever... Even the native, I don't even block comments or whatever. Right? Everything there is there. Didn't change a thing. Mm-hmm. But how do you trust which voices to go for when you make a thing? Especially if, say, Michael Chabon is super proud of his storyline. Anyone that goes against that, even if they have good creative ideas, he'll think probably is like, well, I don't care what they think. I'm proud of it. You assume the actors have a bit more of a sense of this didn't quite work, especially when, Elnor, the actor, must realize I was barely in it, had very little purpose, and why did I do X, Y, and Z? There's a certain point. I know that I was at a convention and I saw the guy who played Bishop from Aliens, and he was really good.
Lance Hendrickson.
Yeah, I'd never heard him speak before. Really, really good talk actually. Last one of the day, and he was just like, man, the fuck was happening in those Aliens movies at the end? I have no Aliens AVP. I have no idea, but you know what? I'll take the paycheck. Any game doesn't matter. I'll take it. I just happy to do it. Don't know what's happening. I just say the lines. Yeah. But he knows they're not good. He knew, So it's. That's why Hopefully, you would think that Trekyards have got a good. We know that the art departments look at what we say occasionally, and you'd hope that they would take what we say a bit more valuable than what the more negative channels say, because they are just looking for the bad things, whereas we'll absolutely give credit to both. Mm-hmm. But then obviously. Yeah. You're paying people on the team to have good ideas. Why listen to people online when we are just two people, both with different perspectives but similar as well? And then I'm sure there are people who lived in the 60s who were part of that first run watch, who would say more things about it wrong than right. And there are people who just enjoyed JJ who might have put $100 into merchandise now and say, well, I like all the new stuff. I saw a comment on our recent video saying he thought the best thing to have, I'm sort of paraphrasing a little bit, but the context was that he thought one of the best things Discovery did was the redesign of the Klingons, because the TNG ones were looking so outdated at the point. And he thought that season 2, maybe they fixed them enough and they shouldn't go any further because they looked really a good compromise, and that they were getting outdated. But Klingons obviously changed so many times that who should matter? And I pointed out they haven't changed so many times. It's been a couple. It's actually less than you think. And if you love Discovery Season 1 Klingons, okay, can't change his mind. But then who do you listen to? The guy passionately loves them, or the fan base doesn't like them? I don't know, So, who's he listen to?
Well, that's why you make multiple Trek shows, which is exactly what they're doing. You can have something for everybody.
Well, and that's why I love that, because you vote with your wallet, right? Mm-hmm. When a film bombs, that's the audience saying we don't like it, right? So they saw presumably the Picard Blu-rays not sell as well as X, Y, and Z. They have direct numbers.
Lower Decks.
Potentially, yeah. They have a viewership. They have a metric, and if people are voting with their wallet, then okay, it's not working so much. I know that Ben Robinson has said that they don't sell many Klingon Discovery ships from Eagle Moss. I'm like, well, of course you don't. They're not going to do a couple because they just don't sell enough. Maybe in the future. It's like, well, yeah, of course they don't.
Yeah.
Of course they don't. Whereas other things just fly off the shelves. Every Miranda version sells dozens of times more than Discovery Klingon ship. I'm like, well, yeah. The one's a kit bash with a new pod.
Yeah. That being said, the Disco Enterprise is never in stock, so. Ensign Ricky, $5. Sup, Cap? Sup, Sam? When I see this new Picard trailer, it feels like a step back from what Disco did in season 3. Looks like they're rushing the big bad again. I don't see a big bad in this one, unless you're talking about Q, but that's definitely not the case. I think Q's more of a going to be there to help them sort this out than anything else. So I don't know where you get the big bad idea from, unless you're talking about the new Federation or what the darker regime, if you want to call it that. If that's what you're referring to. But I don't see a big bad in this one. I kind of like the way this is looking so far. It could be layered. It could be really well executed. And I'm just hoping for that good layered cake with lots of flavor. So I think they are improving over season 1 of Picard for sure, just like Discovery season 3 did for the rest of Discovery.
And I'd be shocked if they didn't link season 2 and 3 directly together. Especially if we film them back to back. It's unlikely the actors will get much of a break in between 2 seasons. And so if there's not a 2-season plan, this could be a very slow build. And as you said earlier on, the alternate universe might even just be a partial point. I think we're both pretty certain we are going to see the Stargazer and some going to the past. Or how does that link to alternate universes? Well, it doesn't necessarily, but maybe maybe the timeline's broken in several places and they've got to go back and fix stuff. Maybe what we see... Just like, and you've said this, you've worked this out and said it every time, these trailers are showing the earliest clips of the earliest episodes, which does not represent the whole season, So maybe the universe gets changed, so we get this shift, which only the first 3, say, and they have to start going backwards and fixing things. And then, which they don't want to reveal yet. Because we've already forgotten about that element. But, if time is broken, that doesn't necessarily just equate to we have to fix one universe. Our universe, but the alternate.
Yeah. Well, Matt Borman says, having worked on several productions, you definitely read the good and the bad and talk about what it is that people don't like about the show you're actually working on. So, and then Wouter215 says, if only they would watch and listen to Trekyards. Trust me, a lot of people in the production actually do watch Trekyards and know about us at least. So that's good. I hope that they do talk about it. 131 people here, though, with 82 likes, guys. Let's hit that like button. We can get up to 100 likes easily. Would really appreciate that. So, Ensign Ricky, $2. I bet Q will make Picard normal again. Watch. Oh, yeah, I think so, too. That was, I think, a mistake. That was a misstep for them for season 1. A lot of people were very upset about that. So I think, and I think Q would be, too. Q would be like, that's cheating. You can't do that. And give him his body back, or see if this is an alternate reality too. Is this is obviously then a real Picard in a real body? So, yeah, they're going to do something like that for sure.
And clearly they didn't intend for him to die at the end of season 1, but they wrote themselves into a corner, and potentially they wanted that big blowout so people would talk about them, because killing Picard will get you news articles. But it's just when it's an unjustifiable, unsmart way of doing it, which also has new repercussions, you're not going to get credit for it. Like Data dying for a second time was powerful enough. That gave us all feels. That was well written. Picard dying, like if Riker had beamed down and he died in Riker's arms rather than Raffi, who we just do not care about, 30, 40 years of knowing Riker, 4 of knowing Raffi, like, who the hell cares? That would have been powerful. Or for Riker to beam him onto the Zhenhe and then be in the sickbay. That could have been powerful. Number 1, you have reality. Rather than the helm, because he dies. But, but it just wasn't. So yeah, easy way of doing it. And then, we have got resets previously. Think about Khan's blood in his darkness.
God.
Just gone.
Yeah.
Concept just gone. Transport beaming gone as a concept. So, happens, gone, boom. Discovery retconned itself by just saying classified. So I guess the Golem tech is classified. Okay, good. Gone from the universe. Crazy.
Angel Baby Card says, problem was when Enterprise was developed, the fans became stalled from that moment backwards. Since that time, everything is to encapsulate 1966 till the end of Nemesis. What?
Well, I mean, that is the Star Trek timeline. I certainly think Enterprise was a fine idea, just should have been done better. And then Discovery was a silly idea, and then Stranger Worlds is an okay idea, and Lower Decks is a great idea. Lower Decks in the future. That's in the future. That's post Nemesis. Picard is, but oddly.
And Ensign Ricky clarified and says the time break is the big bad in this case.
Well, unless it's notably aware of itself, it is not a big bad. It's just a big bad occurrence.
Unless it's done deliberately by Q for some reason to teach people a lesson or steer them in the right direction.
The problem is if Q causes it, then it's all literally Q's fault, which means Q can stop and start it. Because it's implied that the all good things that normally Q couldn't just snap his fingers away. It was beyond Q's power, which made it interesting. So if they can just do that, then if they can't do that, I should say, you know.
Matt Boardman says, "We were well aware of Trekyards when I was on Discovery." That's good to know. Miles Tippett said, "I would have liked to have seen Data in the Golem body. Then he could age naturally, and we could get more out of Brent and Data."
Sure. Yeah, no, they made lots of odd decisions.
Wesley Moss, $5. Thank you. Just now able to tune in. I hope you guys are doing well.
Thank you. Pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, excited to hear what you guys think. I mean, I do like the fact it's an alternate universe, parallel reality. Is that fun? You know, some people don't like just... Well, is it too gimmicky? I like that sort of stuff, so it's not too gimmicky for me. But that could just be me, you know?
No, I'm the same way. This alternate... Anything alternate like this or time travel-y, I really love those episodes generally. So it's something that I think utilizes Star Trek very well. So no, I'm on board with it.
Well,
I don't think it's been overdone. People have been saying it's so overdone. Like this has been used so many times before. They're kind of sick of seeing it. That's their argument for preemptively not liking Picard season 2. And as you guys know, if you paid attention, we aren't the biggest fans of Picard season 1, but we're right there ready to say that season 2 could be better, and we're hoping for that. So,
I mean, how many times did I say Discovery season 3 would be the best season so far?
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah,
a lot, and I was extremely right. I mean, if it isn't, then you're making a bad show because you should always be better every season. Like that's always the aim. But it's less. An alternate universe is less intently difficult than time travel because it creates that pivot and you undo it by its very nature. Once you change the timeline, it's back and it all becomes irrelevant. It's how it affects your own characters, and having these characters see what life could have been will shift them. You know, Rio seeing himself as maybe a good staff officer again, or even more rogue. A Seven seeing herself as a human is going to affect her. You know, maybe pull her back from the vengeance trail, seeing that maybe she can find love. You know, maybe we'll get that moment, like in Wonder Woman after the rape. You know, maybe where she sees the guy at the end, and it's like, oh, we're compatible, but you know, in a nicer way. Because if she sees the guy she marries potentially in an alternate timeline, as you know, you often say, I can marry you in one of my, I can see one universe where I marry you. Oh, I saw it. I know it happens.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Devo77X says, so this season of Picard is going to be like All Good Things, Q helping an elderly Picard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Like I said, that's how we started this live. I said, basically, they're taking All Good Things or parallels to like a two-parter or a one-parter and extending it over the course of however long this is. I don't know if it'll be all season. If it goes into season 3 even, because they are filming it, back to back. But I'm hoping it's like 5 or 6 episodes, and then there's other stories to tell. That'd be great.
Well, there's also ideas that, because if you've got, we've never seen a plot line that drawn out when it comes to alternate realities. That's a whole new ball game.
Yeah.
So I can imagine they could do a thing whereby they write maybe 6 episodes and they shift the universe back, but some elements of that universe remain in our universe. And now you've got to then deal with alternate Harry Kim, evil Harry Kim, as an example, or totalitarian Harry Kim now in our universe doing problems, and so you kind of get shifting of the thing, which would be great. You know, if you plan ahead and think it really far and really complex, and then have those payoffs and setups, it's exciting. And realities let you invent whatever the hell you want and then bring it back and then utilize it. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Angel Baby Card says, I have to admit I did receive some positive feedback from Star Trek Discovery Season 3. You did receive some positive feedback about Star Trek Discovery Season. Did you work on
Yes.
Star Trek Discovery Season 3?
Let us know. We liked it. It was good.
I would, tab extra, I would love to have Q make Picard better, but how could it make anything in post-TNG Voyager DS9 feel better? There's lots of ways you can make it feel better. Discovery already did in Season 3.
Yeah, and, you know, they went super dark with Season 1, but they could say that the universe almost getting blown up and Picard being back on it fully might allow them to say, oh, and it says in another video that this Starfleet Academy scene could be the new graduates, the universe is more together. You know, they gave a sense of anti-synth racism, whatever, but now we're going to double down on the opposite and say, no, you know, without Clancy being as corrupt and being as jaded, because maybe Clancy is only shitty because she's been corrupted by O. You know, maybe once O's gone, maybe she's the root of all the problems at Romulan interference. Now without that Jat Vash, Tal Shiar, and, you know, whatever, you know, we can start the heel. They jump forward 2 years, everything's doing much better, and then it shifts back into dark, but not because of them. Yeah, that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Sergeant Montgomery, though, Guinan can detect shifts in the timeline. Hopefully she's more than just a cameo. Yes, I agree. Plus, it'd be funny to have, you know, Q helping Picard.
Mm-hmm.
Picard's like, no, I need somebody I can trust. The next scene is Q, Picard, and Guinan together, because Guinan and Q have such a contentious relationship. Like, lots of possibilities there. So
yeah, 100%. I mean, it makes it all links together so well, especially if you de-aged Whoopi Goldberg, and so you get to be able to have young Guinan talk to old Picard or whatever. You know, you can easily do that, and it wouldn't even de-age her that much, just how she looked in TNG, because she doesn't age, and if she's got a hat on, don't do her hair, just her face bit. You know, it's a pretty obvious thing to do.
Let's see. Angel Baby Card's humor. In Season 2 of Picard, we see the beautiful Ryan with a biracial tattoo having child on her hip. LOL.
Chakotay.
See, that's the thing. If it's an alternate timeline, we did see the ring on her finger, but chances are she would not have met Raffi.
Uh-huh.
So we have the idea that she's probably married to somebody else. It could be Chakotay, who knows? But I don't think it's going to be Raffi. As much as people might want to see that, I don't think that's the case. Devo says, I like Star Trek Discovery. It's been getting better. Yes, we also agree.
Better is always good.
Logan says, stop it with the absurdly high stakes and stop it with the mystery box nonsense. It's super annoying, especially when it doesn't make sense or pay off. Yeah, like some of the setups are really great. Like there's a lot of potential, and then it just they forget about it. They let that plot thread just fall away, or the wrap up is just so dumb. So yeah, think it through. That's the problem. They don't think it through from beginning to end. They start this really cool idea, and then they don't have a resolution, so it kind of fizzles out.
Well, I mean, also I liked Season 3 because the stakes were the universe got damaged, but it was years ago, so that's not we're post-disaster, we can't change the disaster. So now it's actually a small story, but with the backdrop of a huge story. And so if the universe changes, then while that sounds like a massive storyline, it already happened in Season 2 Discovery, so been there, done that. All we then have to do is have our team members work out what changed the timeline and go back and stop it. That's a small story. Actually, it's a single event changing time storyline. But because they've lost all their knowledge of this future, they don't just have equipment, etc. that creates a long story, and then you have a twist about being X, Y, and Z. So it's actually a very simple story, but it sounds impressive, and it lets you have this creative freedom that you wouldn't always have. That's a good way of doing it. You don't need, and having the burn not be man-made, well, it was, but you know what I mean, wasn't villainous, helped. So by having this temporal thing either be an accident, be someone going through time not on purpose, could be something as simple as even a Kelvin timeline character crossing from their future into our past, changing our present. I mean, simple things, and actually that might be quite a fun idea, given that we made Kelvin. It'd be kind of fun if Kelvin then changes us, because this is post-Picard, so that has already been created in this time stream. And that'd be kind of funny if we see a Kelvin, because we know it happened in Discovery. Although, yeah, maybe yours back, Stuart. Yours back. It's the story of Yor, the time agent.
Was that his name, Yor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be kind of cool though? They introduce him in Discovery season 3, and then we see it. So and then he's on the Stargazer, Stuart, because he's in a CNG season 1 outfit, which is what Stargazers were using. Okay, me in the future, when I'm right on this, edit this scene and say I guess that Yor is going to be the time agent, which means it lets you cut to the Kelvinverse and gets you set up their movies as well. But that's too far. But yes, there you go. They've already set it up without knowing. Without us knowing.
Yeah, Chuck A. In leaked set photos, 7 and Raph here on a Los Angeles bus. Yes, we already talked about those. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean they're married.
No, why, what? That was random.
They sought each other out after they realized that they're in this.
And going back in time, clearly.
Tangerine Star. Yes, I'm really bored with the galaxy-ending peril. The stakes continuously that high. Why should I care about them as people? Yeah, I mean, that is the problem with like the movie mentality as far as Star Trek goes, having the big bad. That's why I miss episodic Star Trek. Mm-hmm. It really is. You have to have the stakes high if you're going to do something that's like a season arc or a movie setup, right? It almost feels like it has to be something big. With episodic, you can do the small little things and have those character moments a little bit better, I think.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Sergeant Montgomery, $5. Casually speaking, is the Q continuum the different temporal war factions Daniel spoke of in Enterprise? Also, will this be the beginning of the war? It could be the beginning of the temporal war, sure. But I don't think the Q continuum was one of the temporal factions. You're putting the Q continuum, you're putting them in the same slot as like the Romulans or the Klingons, and you can't do that. They live outside the time stream, essentially, outside of our universe. Like they're their own thing. They're omnipotent. They wouldn't give a shit about a temporal war.
They also can change reality at a snap. I don't think temporal shields are going to protect against a Q snap. Sorry, like they're beyond that. And also, the time war was after the relativity, so we need the time cops to come out first, and then so that was in the 30th or 29th, or it'd be 30th century was the time temporal Cold War. It was after the 29th century, mostly because they hadn't invented it yet, so there was no temporal Cold War for the time cops. Yeah. So no, well before that, and that'd also be a bit of a cop out to just have now we're doing a 500-year time war, because the time taken only gets banned like in living memory of the Discovery season 3 era, like so too far away from that for sure.
Time war began with more species. When more species had time travel technology and did not follow the time accords. Well, I guess maybe that's the thing. You make these temporal accords for the Federation member worlds, but you got some hick planet in the middle of nowhere where somebody invents time travel. They don't know about them.
Nope.
Nor do they care, because they're not a Federation member if they did know about them. So of course, there's always going to be people going around messing with time, whether you have temporal laws in place or not. Mm-hmm. That always bugged me. Like, ooh, time travel is illegal. Okay, good job. That means nobody's going to do it. Plus, how many times was time travel accidentally done in Star Trek as well? It's like, I don't know. I have a problem
Well,
with the temporal accords thing. I think it's stupid.
and the fact that, obviously, again, it wasn't invented yet, but the fact that the time clocks never did stop X, Y, or Z in TOS or TNG implies that those sort of low-level time instants are fine and self-correcting, you know? It's just,
Yeah.
you know, intentional time changes are a problem when you actively go back and use time as a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kurt and Drake wonder how the prophets would view a temporal war. Well, they don't see... Their time is not linear for them.
They'd be confused.
They'd be very confused. Time is not linear for them.
Underwhelmed.
Everything's happening at the same time for them.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be like, yeah.
Wow, this war came and went now. What? Yes.
It
started again.
Like thousands of years for us. Yeah.
But that would, Sergeant Montgomery says, slingshot on the sun. Now that would be a nice way of having the, maybe one of the team says, we finally, because in the fanfare I'm doing, the idea of the slingshot was massively classified because it's so risky that most people died trying it, so they abandoned the idea. Because if you've got a 1 in 5,000 chance, do you want to go test that? Has to be manned spaceships?
Yeah.
That's not great. You've got 4,099 chance of dying, and whereas if they find it and work out a way of using the Borg tech, blah 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 blah, they can go back in time with that. It'd be fun. And they used a Voyager transporter device, so they certainly will use the cannon, and hopefully, they just need to think it through. Yeah, it's always the rule.
Chuck A says, "How do you think Laris works into this story? Isn't Laris the female Vulcan or the female Romulan?"
Mm-hmm. Cheeky fuckers, yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure. Definitely still taking care of Picard or helping him, which is good. I like the character, so I thought he was referring to the one that got killed on the Borg cube. I was like, no, she dead. But
and Hezraz says you can make an argument that Nero going back in time to destroy Vulcan was part of the Time War. Well, no, because he made an alternate universe. Once he made an alternate universe, which obviously kept existing, it wasn't a time war at that point. It was a universe war, and it wasn't our timeline. While Janeway undoes her own timeline, they didn't try and stop it. So no, it's not remotely to do with the time war, and otherwise would have stopped it, or different universe.
Yeah.
But Laris, yeah, I mean, I'm assuming either very little and semi-meaningless like she was in season 1. She was just a Jat Vash exposition device, Even though it's the biggest secret ever, I literally know all the correct information. It's like, oh, okay, that was easy. But obviously everyone liked her, so I'm sure she'll be in season 2 more. And that's the great thing about having the alternate universes. You can have a little bit of her classic, and then twist her, maybe in full Romulan uniform. Maybe she could be one of the heads of Tal Shiar in this alternate reality, and then be able to be a very different characterization. But he knows Laris, as you often do in temporal stories. You use your knowledge of the person to your advantage to work with them, and so he meets Romulan leader Laris, and then works with her to do X, Y, and Z, kind of like Tamalok,
Well, he was working with the Romulans, like during the course of the Countdown novels. So,
but I meant in the alternate universe, working with them then.
And somebody else had said that. Wonder if Laris is just not even in season 2, just a flashback from season 1. But I don't think that's the case.
Different costume, different makeup, and that wasn't a clip from season 1.
Yeah.
That's why I think she's either alternate universe or something happened in her life. Because he was away for quite a while between the start and the end, and he died. So, things have changed. But it would be kind of interesting if, years pass and he finally comes back to the chateau and she's like, oh, you fuck. It's in fact. You've been away 2 years and you expect me to keep the grapes going? Well, how are they doing, Laris? Fecking great is what they're doing. See? That's not the point.
The ball pitchers and the Picard fertilizers are doing well.
President Julius is thrilled. She sent 44,000 more.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
JB asks, you all right, Foley, mate? Been a bit coffee recently, dude. Yeah, it comes and goes. There's older videos where I had it for a while. Dan23 says, yeah, he coughs a lot more in older videos. I don't know. It's kind of a seasonal thing. It's weird. It'll go away. Don't worry.
I edit it
I'm
out.
fine. Yeah. My apologies. So thank you, JB. He said just worried about him is all. Aw, thank you. Yeah, I'm good. Here's something, by the way. Unlike Picard, Janeway had her ship seized by hostile species multiple times to devour the Kazon. Yeah. Don't know where that came from, but...
Well, you can't really say only Picard got assimilated, because well, Janeway did too. But...
yeah, on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does every Romulan in the alternate universe speak with a bad Welsh accent? I mean, maybe. We don't know. 173 people here. That is awesome. 112 likes, guys. Again, that's awesome. But I think we can hit... what do you think? 150, Samuel? 150? We can do 150.
More. I'll be honest, more.
No, 150. I'm going to go with 150. I'll be, I think we can do that. Hit that like button if you haven't, guys.
And guys, light on Super Chats again. We'd love to hear your thoughts and your process. If you even like that of a alternate universe. We're under 1/5 of our low minimum, which ain't great. Ha ha ha. So, throw some fives. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, if you can help out, that'd be great.
Although, Jay talks about Carl and the Guardian Forever. Could there be a Guardian Forever connection? Because now you've set up the human matrix of the Guardian, and we know it doesn't move until the Time War, so why couldn't they go to the Guardian and meet Carl, and then you get Patrick and Carl together? Or Picard and Carl.
Well, he also mentions this Giorgio tie into this. Not to this, I don't think.
No, horrifying, no. Oh no, unless she goes back and she changes the timeline.
And she's the reason. That
she's the reason
for
the split. Oh no, see that works because then she makes.
And then you get. Then you get a
no.
Guardian of Forever, the Q Continuum, and the Prophets War.
And the Organians, because they're double evolved.
Oh, yes.
And Trelane just walks in like, bitches! I'm like, oh god, Trelane.
Well, he's a Q pretty much, I'm pretty sure.
No, he was a Z.
I thought there was a P.
Cousins the Q.
But, oh, okay.
Whichever. But see, now I've said that, we were sure Georgia wouldn't make sense, but based on the look of the... I mean, if you want to think, Georgia's been made better from her time in the Discoveryverse, but
yeah.
You look at the totalitarian-looking flags, the red and the black, I mean, I can see that being Giorgio saying, you know what, I'm gonna take over, because I want to, obviously, but I'll do good, I'll do right by them, because she wouldn't necessarily know... because
no more eating the citizens. That'll be out the window because she made friends with Saru before.
Because in theory though, as soon as Carl sends her back, she's created an alternate universe, so it wouldn't even need to be changing time. It's just they're linked to our universe, which means that would make Discovery even more canon because then only by Discovery going into the future could Georgia go into the past to trigger Picard season 2. So it'd have to be all canon. So they're double confirming Discovery's canon. And that's the only future they can go to. Problem is, if Discovery Season 3 is the only future they can go to, then they know they fixed Picard Season 2 because they've changed the present, which means they have to change it back, which means Carl should be pissed, which means that Carl sent it back to change the present, which is the past, which doesn't mean anything. Carl, man, don't do it. Carl, don't do it. There is some logic there, though, frustratingly.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. I wouldn't put it past them either, honestly.
But then why would they go back into a modern or at least slightly future LA?
Cheaper to film? I don't know.
Because maybe someone goes back into modern day and we see very meta, like Star Trek 4, which for the rest of time is they went into the past, but at the time they went into the present. So maybe they'll film the present and have it be like, oh, they filmed in 2021. And Raffi's confused by wearing a mask. And then she's like, well, no, I've got nanoprobe. And then, Seven's like, I've got nanoprobes, bitch. Coronavirus can't affect me. She's got nanoprobes. Everyone's like, what? I'm only Greeter at Walmart. What are you on about?
Riot Girl Comics says, when Q appears, he will be de-aged digitally, then it'll change his appearance to match Picard. Yeah, we said that during our live review and video that might be coming out soon. So, yeah, we tend to agree. That would be the ideal use of Q appearing, for sure.
Yeah, just for that one shot.
Yeah.
Because for one shot isn't that expensive. Like, it's expensive. And especially, you know, at a certain point, they might commit to start using deep fake technology. Because it is a very effective way of doing de-aging. Because de-aging is a different process. If you're trying minimal de-aging, it could often be just creating, like, mask versions of, you know, removing wrinkles by smoothing that part of your body. You know, doing this. For Brent, it was a bit more elaborate. You're adding a different hairline, but it's not full CG. It's more just an element of their body put back on and sort of tracking it and whatevering. But yeah, with deep faking, you can literally just put a different version of a face onto another face, and if the face you're trying to put onto the face is a because if you do a digital de-age that looks perfect as a still, which is easy to do, run that through the machine, you could theoretically put a CG de-aged face re-rendered live onto a real face, which is then matching the motions, and it'll be obviously closer because it's a real face and a real face, or at least a mostly real face and a real face. I saw a great video of a guy that took one of the app like age filters that people can get, and made a really good like old version of himself, and then did a very clever software to like put that on his own face, and it took like a couple of weeks to do, but you know he was able to do I'm now 30 years older, and it was very impressive.
The Rambling Johnny, a God's words and a bad idea. Toss in the Shakri God from Star Trek 5.
That's good. That's good. I mean, bring him back, Shakri, man. You know.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got going on here. JB says, Samuel, it's not expensive for effing Paramount.
Well, expensive is expensive. But you know how these shows make profit, right? By only spending what you need to spend. They've got to make a profit to make more seasons. And de-aging is very expensive. Like, it's like tens of thousands of dollars for seconds. You know. Like, that's why Captain Marvel was so incredible, because that was the entire film.
Yeah.
That's like tens of millions, if not like dozens of millions. It's like, but yeah, it looked amazing. But it's like, but they, you know, budget's not an option, or not a problem there.
Barry says, I wonder if the changes into season 1. Pretty sure there's a time jump as well with this change, because I mean Raffi and Seven are on a bus, so there's gotta be some kind of time thing going on as well.
Which Sergeant Montgomery reminds us about the whole Jupiter thing, because on the bus they had the custom pictures, which is true. So it's still the future-ish, which is good. Good to do a semi-future. So it'd be interesting if they change the past to change the future, or will they go full Star Trek 4 and just have to go back into the past to find something for the present? Or is it a multi-level? Yeah.
Riker Comics says, if there is time travel, how can Picard, with good conscience, not try to save Riker and Troy's son? I'd be very surprised if that didn't happen. They needed synthetic bodies to test on because of some of this weird disease that's... But, yeah. It's not like this time travel where they get to choose where they're going to go, I don't think. So... I don't think they're gonna go there. They're not gonna do that.
No, I mean, if they choose to retcon stuff from season 1, they could, but I mean, look at All Good Things. Picard actively changed what happened in Farpoint, didn't affect our timelines. So when Q helps to send people back, it doesn't always equate to changing whatever. Not that, obviously they need to set the rules of this game before they start playing it, because if it doesn't matter what you change, you do whatever you want. But it certainly would be a nice payoff. Let's be fair. You had the emotional moment in Nepenthe. Janeway did it in Endgame, so to not say you can't change to save people's lives, they did it. So it would be kind of nice if he is, he goes even Nemesis time. We see him in the classic uniform, talking to Riker de-aged when he looked fatter, so he could get away with it better. And says, well, number one, they'd refilm the Nemesis scene, shaking hands. Oh, by the way, number one, when you have your second child, or first child, whichever the hell, make sure you steal some of Data's cells first. Wait, he's already dead. Steal some of B4's cells. What? Just do it, okay?
Trust me, I know things.
Then you get a great moment when you see whoever built the TNG robotics guy. You see him back in it. It's like, he's not dead now.
Maddox.
Thank you, Bruce Maddox. 'Cause it would be great if they undid season 1. That would be quite satisfying, because then it would let you still get season 1, but because if you can only get to season 2 by doing season 1, the end game reality is no less valid by them undoing it. And there's a lot of those scenes. You kind of forget how many. Yeah.
The Ronin $5. Thank you so much. Hi everyone, I'm a bit late. I thought, could this be a softer Terran Empire created by Giorgio being sent back by Carl? It's a long shot, admittedly. Sure, I mean...
We had that idea and talked about it just now, which is great.
Yeah. It could be. She's trying to do something good because she's changed. She was actually kind of redeemed a little bit when she got sent back, but... So it kind of throws the whole, there's going to be a Section 31 show with her leading it out the window, which we haven't heard much about that anyway, so I think that might be Nick's idea, so... But, yeah. Also, some things temporal agents may have let happen due to things that were done in part of the Time War that caused effects and allowing certain time travel events fix the issue enough. Okay. The Life Dyslexic, getting the feeling season 2 is going to be a cross between TNG Tapestry and Voyager Non Sequitur. Which one is Non Sequitur? I have to look that up. It does kind of have a Tapestry vibe to it, but I don't think it's a Q type deal. With him teaching Picard a lesson, I think it's something that happens that Q's there to also help fix.
Yeah, it's all good things. I need to give you a temporal, universal vibe to be able to, live and fix this problem.
Yeah. So Non Sequitur, that's one with Harry Kim. Okay. Just wanted to look that up.
Oh yeah, Matt Bourne reminds us about the Section 31 show.
Yeah, I mentioned that in a sec.
It was announced 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yep. It's set up. It's set up with Giorgio going back.
That's true.
So they can do it if they need to, but we haven't heard a word about it. So, and with them, I think they probably changed direction when they got such a push for Captain Pike. So Strange New Worlds it is. Section 31. Sorry.
The show no one asked for.
Yeah. Well, exactly, and I think that's why we're going to see Giorgio in at least an episode or 2 of Strange New Worlds. Is my feeling, but I don't think it'll tie into Picard though. It's all Chrono works, maybe.
I'd certainly like to see the I'd certainly love to see the time cops a bit more. Yeah. Show us relativity. Bing back Braxton. Well, and also one thing they can do with this season, because they've said, obviously we want all the TNG cast to return, etc. But if you're doing an alternate universe, say in the present and whatever, they could very, very easily have lots of legacy actors come back, just like of Gods and Men, but alternate them without really interfering, obviously without at all interfering with canon, and without them playing their own stereotypes. Harry Kim comes back as a badass, and Tuvok as a laughing Vulcan. It gives you that ability, and it's a throwaway, but it's a fun throwaway. Kind of like Seven feels like a throwaway, odd, not really 7 or 9 version of herself in season 1. It's like, oh yeah, here's 7 9. Wait, is it? Kind of? Alternate. Whatever. And Icho, very much an alternate version of Icho, even though the actor was still alive and was eager to take the role on. So yeah, I mean, maybe we'll see some other cast members, but if they're not playing themselves, maybe that in their mind is them saying, oh, I'm not back as Geordie. Prime Geordie.
Yeah. I'm not playing Jordy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Area 51, $5. The new Terran Empire, now with less cannibalism. Out with the agony boots, in with discomfort chairs.
They've just got slightly spiky bottom pieces. Not like spiky spikes, just like little, a little bit.
And angle, and the seat's angled forward so that you're never really comfortable. You feel like you're sliding off.
And it squeaks.
Constantly. Yes. How do you move that?
Yeah.
Matt Boardman says, you definitely go with what people want, and Pike was a huge success for Discovery Season 2. Yes. Yeah.
And it's tricky kind of doing what people want, because there's not one people, but people don't necessarily know what they want until they see it. Like no, it'd be hard to argue that people wanted 09, people wanted Darkness, people wanted Beyond. None of those things are what people wanted, but there were attempts. Same with Star Trek 5. No one really wanted that except the three of them together, but it's what we got. It's just the next idea they had. And who would have thought they wanted Kirk dying on a dead planet? Who cares? But when your franchise is not at the critical standard or fan standard it should be, responding to what fans like and dislike. I mean, aren't you making the show for the fans? If you're not making the show for the fans, are you in the right business? If you're not making it for them, well, you're making it for yourself, and making it for yourself doesn't pay for the $70 million budget. Unless you want to pay for that, which is what they did for Netflix and such. For Discovery, they got the budget from someone else. They made what they wanted. Didn't care because it wasn't their money, and then they moved on. But when it's their own money and their profit margins, they see money being burned away. You wonder why they want to do what fans want more.
Yeah. Matt Boardman, $5. I hate to say that the reaction to Pike in Discovery Season 2 was a pain in the head for the execs, but it was. Hence, we got Strange New Worlds. There you go. Angel Baby Card says, the 65-year-old from my future told me Trekyards was a really cool YouTube channel from back in the day.
Good.
And he must know our future, so let us in on it. Bring back Braxton. Have the time agents accidentally pick up a drunken hobo who rolls with it well enough to pretend that he is a time agent and bumbles his way through fixing history. There's a new Quantum Leap Star Trek show idea. Fixing all the mistakes in Star Trek. Let's see here. Bring back. Yeah, we'd love them to bring back Cisco, guys, but
it wouldn't be an interesting character. He's seen the universe. You'd have to bring back Cisco before he became a god, or you'd ruin the character probably. I mean, sorry.
Well, they kind of did ruin the character because Avery Brooks was so proud to be playing a good father figure, like a black man on TV that's a good father figure. But what's he do at the end of the show? He goes to the store for scratch tickets and cigarettes and never comes back with an unborn baby.
That is true.
Damn. You got to bring him back. He has to redeem himself in some way.
It's true. He's a deadbeat dad that abandoned his family. I mean, Cassidy doesn't like that.
And even after Jake sacrificed his whole life to save his dad in whatever, I forget the name of the episode.
Visitation.
Yes, the Visitor. The Visitor. So yeah, I mean, good job, Cisco. I don't know. That always bugged me.
Well, yeah, but that's not a black guy thing. That's a people thing. But in this context, if he was also born to be a prophet, he had no choice in the matter. As you told me about that idea the other day, and it was also a prophecy within a prophecy, and it's just what's the thing?
He's non-linear, so he can come back at any time. Literally, like 2 minutes later.
Yeah, but it's it's like going to war. If you're conscripted into war, and you got to go fight for 5 to 10 years, can your wife and son be mad at you if you were conscripted? I mean, yes, but it's not your fault. So if Cisco had to do the going in to be a whatever for whatever, we don't know so why he had to be. Just he had to be. It's like, can we mad at him? Just make a hollow him, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, you're right. That'd be dad. I do.
It's kind of sad. That always rubbed me the wrong way at the end of that show. It's just like, oh, really?
Although, you know, what's worse? Janeway undoing all the born people that are born
That's
in
also bad.
reality, or actively abandoning your family.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
But that reality does well. That reality didn't stop. She just moved realities. But assuming it did stop, they didn't know they were stopped. So should it matter? If you don't know you were ever born, how can you be mad at that?
I'd have to put myself in a different frame of mind to answer that question. Wait a minute, I can't.
Yeah, because you can't.
Wait.
I still want to see the future with Icheb and Naomi Wildman.
Yeah.
That sub future. That looked kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bring back Naomi Wildman, you know. Captain
the guy
Wildman.
The guy that got for the older Icheb looks so much like Manu now. They should go back and redo that scene with like Manu now and the girl that played Naomi. Just refilm them and superimpose them or whatever. That'd be great.
Why not? Because it's expensive and stupid. But why not?
And even Will Wheaton with the here's what you're gonna look. That's speaking of Q.
Oh, that should just be a fan film by itself. Just refilm that green screen. That's the whole fan film. It's just Will Wheaton then and there. Although didn't they say that Will Wheaton's now as old as Patrick Stewart was when he had the role?
Yep.
I think that was last year. It's like, oh. But if Patrick looks old from the start, he stays the same looking old for the entire time. If Will looked young, then he suddenly gets old. You know? So looking old young, that's why when that famous comedian guy got grey hair early, well, he looked the same for like 35 years. Because, yeah, he aged early. And then maintained.
Yeah. The Ronin, $2. I promoted Harry Kim would imply time is broken. Yes.
Yeah.
Eugene, 1,000 rubles.
Oh, thank you.
Oh boy, I fear the stakes are, as always, too high. It's not just a galaxy at stake, or a universe. It's all universes. Hope the producers will eventually stop the epicness of inflation.
Yeah.
We talked about big bads and big plot lines like that earlier. I think you might have missed that part, Eugene. But thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
You like a big solid red.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends how you take the theory of time. If every time they go back, it's to an alternate timeline, fine, but that takes away all the stakes. That's why if time changes in the present, then you can keep going back and tweaking things until the point where it's all whatevered. You know, like doing jump hopscotch through time. You know, how to fix little problems. You know, maybe there is a temporal agent going through. And then, honestly, as weird as this sounds, you know, especially if they're changing stuff in say 2011 or 2030 or whatever that is. If like Braxton in Relativity can jump through time. What if this character actually jumped into Strange New Worlds? Where they have all the existing sets and there's no logical leap there. He just goes to the Enterprise to do something bad, and then it wouldn't be Picard, probably be one of the other crew, but I would split them up to do different missions. So you'd have maybe Rios beam into the Enterprise and then be able to wander around, and because they've got, you know, it's like when Bashir was on the Enterprise D, it's cool in his tennis shoes, which is a great thing he sent me. I mean, why wouldn't you do that? You've got all these standing sets. And certainly, if they're banking on fans loving that, then you get to double down on the uniforms, new costumes, new set designs. That's a really strong thing to do, you know, if you want to go through time. If you want to be really cheeky, they could go back to Discovery Season 1 and, like, see the lady that gave... the Romulan lady that gave to Kuvma the first cloaking device, which, without that cloaking device, Binary Star would have been very different. They couldn't have snuck up on them. They couldn't have Vulcan hello'd if they were cloaked or not cloaked. It would have been very different. And without that, there might have been Discoveryverse. So imagine if they undo that and then fix timeline, you know?
Yeah. It's no time to talk about time, Samuel. We don't have the time. Area 51, though, says, Trekyards, the last scene where they pan out from Jake and Kira at the window. What we didn't see was a minute later, Ben comes up behind Jake and says, okay, I'm back. See, that's nice. That would be great. He's already done all he has to do. And since time is irrelevant for him, he just, comes back right then. Yeah, great. Ding. Just figured out Janeway was given brownie points by the temporal agents because of the events of Year of Hell. Imagine how much that would be hard to fix. Yeah, but it wasn't the temporal agents. They didn't worry about the Delta Quadrant so much, did they? I got more of the sense that they were just kind of like.
Well, you say that, but Voyager destroyed Earth, and they went back and killed Voyager. That was a mission anyway. I mean, that was Delta
but that's because Earth is in their jurisdiction.
Sure. Well, no, and you're right. If there are temporal accords, it would be weird to have the Federation have temporal jurisdiction over the entire galaxy. That's true. I can see that being a concept. And we know that Year of Hell didn't affect the Alpha Quadrant. Otherwise, that would be a big storyline. You know, it's a limited space of temporal change, and even I think they even showed like the edge of the time distortion. Well, anyway, that breaks reality, because how can you change time if further out? But we know that they forgot people they dealt with because they didn't get affected because they're outside of it. You know, yesterday we scanned this. They say that yesterday we scanned this area and there were people, now there aren't. But they weren't affected because they were outside the bubble. So time can change in a small area, which is insanity. So, you know, there's a radius of all this stuff. So time comes, maybe just for the local vicinity. But then obviously, Voyager, Delta Quadrant still managed to change time in the present.
Time travel bothers me.
It's so easy to do right, though. You have to be clever and simple, you know?
Yeah.
And set up your rules, you know?
Yes.
Like, are you Back to the Futuring or not? You know, are you going to go and visit? Are you going to, you know? Because really, time travel is just alternate realities. You're shifting to one that you then have to undo the focal point to fix. Yeah. Really. Otherwise, by even fixing your single linear time stream, you're changing other things. If you have to go back and talk to someone to stop something else, well, now you're not where you were, where they were, changes everything. Unless time likes to fix itself, because it has a direction it wants to go, and then even by changing one small thing, it sort of readjusts itself in the grand scheme.
Well, I'm reading the Stephen King book 11/22/63 with the assassination of John F. Kennedy, where a guy goes back to stop it. And yeah, time has a way of, it doesn't want to be changed. It'll throw everything at you to stop you from doing it, whether it be a car accident in front of you, your car not starting, you know, something to just delay you from changing a watershed of moment. So yeah, we've heard that before in Star Trek, even, that time has a way of repairing itself or getting to where it needs to be. So yeah. Sergeant Montgomery, $2 with a live long and prosperous. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Let's see. We have 141 likes. Can we get 9 more likes to get to 150? Samuel says we can. And honestly, another $90 in super chats would be great. But yeah, if you can super chat, please do so. We'd really appreciate it.
I just realized something briefly. If you think about what Trek has done in the last 5 years, they've thrown everything at us and nothing stuck. Think about it for a second. They had Klingon Galactic War and Mirror Universe War, like Mirror Universe Story. Yep. They had time being broken. They had time traveling sentient AI that destroys the entire galaxy in the future and save it. So all of the universe being destroyed. They also had going into the massive future, which is another massive plot line. Then they had since destroying all the present again, to again.
Yeah.
So time travel, alternate realities they've had since, like they've hit so many of these massive bars. Now they're doing it again with another alternate reality, like and Section 31, the barely used thing they're overused in season 2. Like these are massive Trek plot things all thrown at us, and they barely worked any of them. Whereas if you had some nice episodic Trek where you get to deal with characters and people, and wouldn't that be nice? You don't need to have every. It's the. Imagine though if we'd done a video right at the start and said let's do bingo, what conceits are they going to do in the next 5 years, and this would be like the top set. Oh my god, they're all of the big hitters. They couldn't just do fun stuff. That said though, you look at Enterprise season 1, and they don't do almost any. A lot of very vanilla. I don't remember most of them storylines because they just kind of do their own thing. Whereas here they're going for big ideas.
Yeah, because they're wandering around the neighborhood essentially.
Yes, yeah.
There's
Way of saying it.
So, I don't know. You're right about the big, like, just spattering things on the wall, see what sticks. Because they did some pretty big ideas for sure. But SWTX Chaser $2 Lower Decks did stick. Yeah, Lower Decks did fantastic.
Yeah, brilliant.
Kess traveled forward and back in her timeline once.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she did.
It's a weird but good episode.
Yeah.
It confuses me, that episode. I'm thoroughly interested and excited by this season.
Yeah.
The idea of this one is fun. But I certainly hope that they do go to the Stargazer, go to the Enterprise D, do that all good things approach, but have it be very narratively meaningful, obviously, and for non-need to de-age, you could absolutely then have, say, Raffi and Elnor need to go on the Enterprise D. That's because that's their mission, kind of like Avengers, submissions. And so you see them in now TNG uniforms going through some hallways, and they maybe talk to a character we heard of in the TNG but never saw, or a de-aged Geordie because he had de-aged beautifully. He looks very similar, and it's just like little small things, but that are all part of this changing. Stuff is broken all throughout time, and Q is letting them go back and change small things because it's so many things.
That'd be interesting. I wouldn't go with Geordie though because LeVar Burton has the facial hair now and stuff. But you could do Brent Spiner's back for season 2.
Yeah, but he would de-age better, I think. LeVar would.
Plus, Data would always remember that interaction they had too. So.
Yeah, but they're changing lots of things. I think you'd have to concede that it's all one big thing. But I mean, you shave your facial hair. I mean, Brent shaves a beard all the time for people, so LeVar can change his facial hair. And then what's good about that is that you don't then need to de-age the eyes or eyebrows, because you look older in the eyes, less alive. So actually makes it a lot easier by wearing the same thing. It just makes it hard to do motion tracking. And then Stargazer obviously as well. I mean, these are things that fans would want, but isn't that partially why you make Star Trek? To give fans cool stuff to watch and enjoy. It seems so odd to just do a show that fans don't want. You can have stuff they don't know they want. But that's why.
But see, ideas like this that are brought up in the production meetings are probably like, yeah, it's a little too fan servicey though. People aren't going to like it. You know what I mean? I think some ideas are probably brought up that are really well thought out, and it's just kind of shot down. No, we're gonna. Why pay these older actors when we got our new crew, our new cast? We got to focus on them, which makes sense. I mean, these new actors were hired for the show, so I mean, it's about them. But I think the word fan service probably gets thrown around the production meetings a little too much.
Although in fairness, because it's not an ensemble show, it's not about Jurati. She's there as a plot device.
Yeah.
Rios.
Why has she been back in season 2? She should be in jail.
Yeah, Rios, he's an important character. Obviously, Soji, Daj, they're important characters. Raffi was, although whatever, and then Picard, and then whoever else is unimportant. Even Brent as the other guy, he was just a plot device. Data was a character, but it's just I wouldn't normally recommend this sort of big storyline for them, but because they're using this sort of conceity idea, and in theory, if in theory, if you want to go very creative with it, you could have them be shifted into this alternate universe, and they say we don't know when it was changed. We have to keep going back in teams to work out when it was. And so they go on to Enterprise D. It's not the Enterprise D. It's a butcher. Like it's this reality Enterprise D. And so you still get to have the cool vibe, but you get to tell everything different. You don't have to build the right sets. You don't have to build the right costumes. And you keep going back, and they keep having to until they maybe Stargaze is the point, and that's the big payoff. That Picard has to be the primary. But you get to have these going back.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, especially with seeing 7 of 9 and Raffi on a bus. That's that team for that era.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they go see George and Gracie's kids.
Sure. SWTX Chaser, $5. What if Q Continuum, Federation War, and only Q and Picard can save both sides from destruction? The Q Continuum and the Federation go to war.
Stuart, war's over.
Yep. Oh, oh man.
Well, it lasts as long as that chat lasted. Although MLP Death Deal R32.
Death Dealer. Yeah.
Oh, I know. I was just trying to be like.
Oh, trying to be a smartass.
Yes, that's the same mistake they made with Star Wars sequels, and look how bad those turned out. Although to be fair, they didn't do it for the first film, didn't do it for the second film. Only in the third film they became big old using fan stuff, because definitely not in the first two. I mean, did you see the second one? They threw away the old stuff. Literally,
the lightsaber was
Yeah, because if they spread those things out, if they had Lando in the first one, they had Reg in the second, they could have done it brilliantly. But you say, look how bad they turned out. It wasn't the same mistake. It was, let's cram everything into 2.5 hours, which we've got also our own, it was a hodgepodge of bullshit. It was fun. Much fun than the other two. In fun factor, bullshit doesn't make sense. But Picard's got at least 10-15 minutes, which already makes it more worthwhile. And they got 2 seasons. I'm put this way, I'm sure Rise of Skywalker would have been amazing as a Disney Plus show. Palpatine's back. Yeah. Rey and the Wayfinders. That would have been great. Right. Because time, that's also why the Snyder Cut's better in a lot of ways, because they had over double the screen time. So of course it was better. They had more time to develop. So no, not the same mistake, and definitely wouldn't be the same thing. I know what you mean, but you can have the right things done wrong and the wrong things done right, and often it can just be time and effort, and what you're allowed to do.
Yeah. Likes 154. We hit our 150 mark. Can we do 6 more? Do 160?
And $34 more. Help us round up, guys. We'll do some final super chat thought things. Well, I really need the toilet. So hopefully, guys, we'll get 100. We'll get $36 more before I come back. Who knows? Q knows. That's the point.
Well, he should have just waited until. But anyway, they should somehow bring back Jadzia. No idea how. It is her, but at the same time, that one that died was the real her too. Thomas Bartoli, Bev Crusher would have been cool to see on Picard. Yes, and it would have made sense. We would have liked to have seen that, actually. We talked about that during season 1, and bring her back for season 2. But apparently, she said she's not in season 2. But considering they're filming season 2 and 3 back to back, she could be in season 3. And by saying I'm not in season 2, it's a red herring. She's going to show up at some point. Because honestly, to not include her is just dumb. I don't know why they wouldn't. Hey Donnie, how's it going? Good to see you. Will there be time hopping? I mean, probably, but we're not sure, obviously. Crusher seems to be a huge omit on the part of the people running the show. Yeah, probably because none of them have watched Star Trek, and they don't understand that there's a deeper relationship between Crusher and Picard than just Doctor and Captain. Hezraz, I hope this season doesn't exist solely in 2020 or 2021 or whatever. Well, it's not going to be in 2020 or 2021 at all. So, yeah, no. I think even the dark alternate reality stuff is hopefully going to be only 5 or 6 episodes and not the full 10 or 11, however many they do. But Michael Stark, great to be back discussing new Star Trek. Can't wait for Picard season 2. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm back.
New Trek is good. Hey, Joe Grimes just threw in 20 pounds as you got back.
Yes.
And says the trial never ends.
Yeah.
It's a very true statement. It doesn't.
Ooh, thank you, Joe. That
JB
helps a lot.
JB says Gates won't be in it. They can't afford her cameo fee. Spent the budget on de-aging John Delancey. If it's as simple as her cameo fee, that would really lose a lot of respect for the actress, because that's bullshit. When there's a project like this that you've spent a good chunk of your life on a character, yeah, you have a certain fee, but at the same time, me personally, I'd be like, half the fee and just the fact that I'm going to be back on screen with continuing my character arc, I'm down. It's the actors that hold out for money like that just piss me off.
But so you think that you hate Len Nimoy and DeForest Kelly for saying no generations then?
That's not why they did it.
No, but they wanted them, so should they not have done it because they wanted them and to the character arc?
Well, they should have. I don't hate them for it, but the fact that Leonard Nimoy said this isn't, you don't need Spock for these lines. There's no good script here.
Yeah.
So, but they're not holding out for money like Chris Pine for this fourth Star Trek movie. That just pisses me off too. Like, get over yourself. Pine doesn't have quite the legacy, obviously. So, but whatever.
But what I was leading into is that if Gates doesn't like her script and wants so much money for her part, like if her part is not very good, like I said, a few lines, obviously she would want, like, it's not worth her appearing for only so little money, because like the point of the scene is to get me, so I'm the important bit here. I'm giving you credence. And if she doesn't like what her character does, then why would she want to be in something that doesn't pay her enough? Now you can pay someone to do something you don't want to do, like Brent, like they paid him enough to be Data. Yeah. Like he probably said no, and then they said double the money. But it's so legacy is important, but also if you don't value yourself,
Matt Boardman says, my feel about Gates, anytime I've interacted with her at convention, is that she's sort of an outlier of the cast. Everyone seems to want to talk to the other cast members. So I would think that she would grab any screen time that she could.
Well, if she's given a scene, right, that they think is great and she has the gut reaction, fans aren't going to like it, that might interfere with her making money at conventions the next 40 years. Because you've got to think of it, continuing a legacy, but if it ruins the legacy, but
also having her on screen makes her relevant again, which means more people at conventions coming to get.
Do you want to meet Joe Ryan less or more now?
I never really wanted to meet Jerry Ryan, so.
No one asked though.
I don't know. I don't want to meet her less because of the character. She was still 7 of 9 on Voyager.
She was 7 on Voyager.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I kind of disagree with you there. Like, any bad press is still good press. Because it's, I don't know. Just make them relevant again. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, but I would actually write them in. You know me, I'd actually write them in properly. I would have had her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have her be. I'd have Picard literally, first episode, walk up to the door, say, Beverly, I should have married you 20 years ago. Really? Don't know why they weren't married. Pissed me off. There wasn't even a picture of her in his study. Why was there no picture of her or the cast in her study? Symbolically,
Yeah, Hezraz says you could get away with high fees in the prime of your career, but like 20 or 30 years after, that's a no-go.
Although define high fees. If you're being hired to play you and you're the point of the scene, then why should you accept 500% less than you got in your prime if you're the point of this scene? Is Brent getting paid less than he did on Nemesis to be in Picard? Is Patrick getting paid less to be? No, I'm sure Patrick's getting paid more than he was on Nemesis, because of course he is. And I'm sure Brent is as well, because of course he is. You know,
Well, Stewart is for sure because the show's called fucking Picard.
an executive
So,
producer. Yeah, like there are exceptions, obviously,
yeah.
but like I wouldn't want to cameo as my character for 2 minutes and get paid 1/10. It's like I would rather have 50 minutes and get paid my normal salary, which is percentually I'm getting less for what I'm earning, but I'd rather give the time. That's just me.
Yeah. JB says, well, to be fair, Gates did do Bowie's Labyrinth for just her stage membership fee, so she'll do it. Yeah.
Well, I really think they would.
She was the dance
it.
choreographer for that.
Yeah, I don't think they would do it for I don't think they for lack of money. I'm sure, but who knows?
Yeah. Joe Grimes, £10. Ooh. Yeah, I saw that was delivered. I got an email today.
What?
I got an email that your Trekyards mug was delivered because you're not turtly into me anymore. I get it. You've moved on.
What?
He's pimping the new merch, guys. There's a T Public store down below in the links in the description. That's one of the new Trekyards.
Are you okay, Stuart? I've had this mug for like 5 years. This is the first thing you gave me for Trekyards.
See, I'm in an alternate reality right now, so I'm just, pimping the new stuff.
Guys, I've always had this mug. I always drink this mug, What about turtles? You say turtles?
Yeah, you were turtly into me for years because you had a turtly into me mug. Anyway, moving on.
Trekyards mug. This is the reality of the Trekyards mug.
Yeah, you can buy it down at the T Public store. Check it out.
Should have bought it 5 years ago on the T Public store too. Stuart, did you like my bit? I thought as I went downstairs.
That was good.
Ultimate
You
reality.
didn't think I'd notice.
Oh, I did. I was hoping you noticed that as quick as you did. I was like, yes,
I saw your turtly mug earlier in this live. So, Joe Grimes, £10. I've been away a while. Love you guys. Your videos make my day. Here's another 10. Thank you so much, Joe. Really appreciate that. Your kind words and the super chat are fantastic. So thank you. But yeah, I got an email earlier today, Samuel, that your product has been delivered. And I'm like, oh, which one is it? Oh, it's a mug. I didn't order a mug. Hope Samuel's happy. So, Ezra, Trekyards, I was meaning for things like cameo or signing autographs or taking pictures. I get that if you are paid a certain fee that you have worked for over years, that you can get what you deserve. I mean, a huge fee to send people messages and take photos.
Well, I mean, you've got to think that they haven't had any income for over a year. I mean, all these actors do conventions and earn their money by doing the hard work. And a lot of conventions don't pay you a fee. You only get what you earn on the autographs a percentage of. So the more you sign, the more you get. Sorry.
What? No one thing. I just want to talk to.
Yeah.
Hold your thought.
Yep.
Brian Kesterson, our moderator, says, on cool merch, check out the Teespring store. Brian, there's a new store down below. It's the T Public store. Please share that link. That's the new link.
Real good looking mug. Like, it really does look very good.
We still have both stores, and both stores make mugs, but the T Public ones I think are cheaper right now. So if you want to share the T Public link, that'd be great, Brian. Anyway, continue your thought about the percentage.
Yeah, or they get paid Shatner gets paid a hefty amount. Doesn't matter how much autographs he does. So I think it's like 50,000 depending on the convention. So he always gets what he's worth, and then however many people come or don't come. But if you haven't if you rely on those conventions for income, like Gates doesn't act anymore. You might get some residuals from these shows, but if the only reason you want to talk to Gates is because she's Gates McFadden, then that's the value. And if she's one of the 5 leads of the most famous sci-fis of all time, your values depend on what you charge for it. And if she's like, well, I'll see what happens. That's why you do Indiegogo perks are higher to see who will get them and they help you out. And they realize, oh wait, I'm able to pay for my rent by Star Trek fans talking to me one-on-one on Cameo. It's lovely they can do that. I just hope it doesn't inflate their value proposition when they come back to normal conventions, because that's the on the ground stuff that's special. I'd be fine with Cameo as a that expensive if you could if they could respond to a specific message you send them, or it'd be really custom. But I always hate the cameos where they say, "Hey, I'm Commander Riker from TNG, and I played it." And they spend half the time saying the thing.
And then they use half of their make it so, engage, live long and prosper, like all the catchphrases that weren't their characters.
Well, yeah.
And not a band account. I'll get to your super chat. I know I missed it, so I'll go back and read that in a second.
Just spending half of your 2 to 3 minutes saying nothing, and also during the start of the pandemic, all these actors said, "I remember wear a mask, guys." It's like, I don't want to fucking hear that. I've paid you hundreds of, like, dozens of dollars a second. Tell me something that's interesting for me. Don't say put on your fucking mask. I don't know. That's going to age poorly, and I'll want that again because I do not want you to mention that. It's like when, they do these online one-on-one videos, which I've done a couple of. I don't want them to ask me questions. Oh, so where are you from? Oh, California. Oh, that's cool. How's weather? It's great. Are you out of time? Oh.
Yeah.
And then they'll forget you, because obviously they will, moving on, So when I did my ones, I had literally I had paid questions for each person ready, so I didn't have to think. I could just go. And, I was ready because I only have 3 minutes with them. And that's the people who aren't famous. If you only get a minute, you get one thing. It's like I've been tempted to get the Shatner package because that'd be kind of cool to actually talk to Shatner one-on-one. He has to focus on you, But it's just like, you only get a minute and that's not enough, Yeah.
Not a band account. Sorry for missing your super chat, but $2. Picard needs to marry Beverly and claim Wesley. Well, the first part anyway. I don't know about that last part.
I would be fine to see Wesley. That'd be something kind of fun to see him back as, a darker version of himself, And then maybe, oh God, wouldn't it be great? And this is very meta, but if in this season he's a higher rank than Picard and he's like, shut up, shut up, Wesley, yeah, shut up, Picard, shut up, Picard. Like, that's a good payoff, I would find that fun.
Yeah, because he's a captain and Wesley's an admiral.
Yep.
Because things have changed. I need your help.
Shut up, Picard.
Shut up. Yeah.
That's good.
Instead of the sheer fucking hubris, it'd be just shut up, Picard. That'd be great.
Yeah, but it'd be natural, it'd be unnatural, but it'd be natural at the same time. Both somehow.
Yeah, it would work. Is what you're saying.
Yeah. So bring him back just for that.
Well, guys, do you have any other thoughts or ideas or speculations or expectations that you have for the show? Let us know. We'd love to talk about it. We are winding down, so right now Joe Grimes has that last super chat slot. If you want that and you want to snipe with $2, $5, $10, whatever, by all means, feel free. That would be great. And don't forget to hit that like button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All we need.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be fabulous.
Fabulous. Yes.
Yes.
Matt Boardman, $10. Oh, Matt.
Crazy.
One time, I got a picture with Avery at Star Trek Las Vegas. I kept closing my eyes, and at one point, he started to tickle me to distract me. The final picture, I look like I'm being goosed. Oh, damn.
Yeah, I'm frustrated I haven't ever met Avery. I had the opportunity to, but I was too young to pay for it, and, if you don't get the picture with him while you can, there is no picture. He hasn't done conventions in like 8 years. No, more than that.
Yeah.
Be like 11 years. That's a long time. That's a really long time, obviously. But that's
so even if you do get a picture with him, it'll be not the they'll look older. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I was pretty pleased when I got Kate Mulgrew just before she put on weight. So I have like a weird hybrid. It's not the best picture by any means, or it's quite unique. So I have like, she looks like a slightly older Janeway rather than a very older Janeway. I was right on that precipice.
Yeah. Joe Grimes sniped for the last super chat slot with £5, but a much cheaper bullet came along at 99 cents, and Sean K is now the last super chat slot.
Cheaper bullet. I like that. That's good.
That's a BB. A pellet. SWTX Chaser, $1. So last super chat slot is yours right now.
That's fine. But it's good to talk to you guys. We I wouldn't say we took a break. We never take a break.
No.
But we literally can't afford to. But we took a break, and so it's very nice to come back and chat to you all. And it's certainly didn't have the stuff planned, so it's kind of fun to suddenly, oh look, we've got all this new stuff to talk about, and even from the first trailer, stuff was happening. You could tell. Yeah. But I'm hoping that I'm gonna like every step of the way. Like first teaser good, first trailer good. You're doing good, guys. Keep it up.
Yep, keep it up. Tertiary adjunct says I heard slutty older Janeway instead of slightly older Janeway.
I mean, alternate universe.
All right.
I mean, they have Kate Mulgrew on contract. Maybe she signed up. That's the thing. Alternate universes, you can have evil Admiral Janeway. Oh, and hey, wouldn't that be a scene? Seven of Nine goes up to Janeway, and Janeway doesn't know her, particularly apart from her political stance. And she's like, I literally know all about you, Janeway. Oh, see? But then you'd feel cheated by Picard talking to Janeway because it's not really Janeway. That's the problem with alternate universes. That meeting never is really as powerful as it could be, because it's not really them, you know?
Yeah.
It's like the Mirror Universe Voyager. Well, it's not Mirror Universe. It's cool, but it isn't. Same with DS Enterprise. It's like it is, but it isn't. So, somewhat cool, but not quite.
Yeah. Joe Grimes, still loading with the same ammo. He's got a 5-pound last super chat night there.
Yeah, back in the yeah. Oh, it's like those quick reloaders. Fantastic, awesome. And yet, tune in tomorrow for our release of the look at Picard's new uniform. We do go in depth. There's a lot more to look at in that uniform than you think. Graphics, you know them, you've seen them, we love them. And then Sunday, look at the new comm badge. And again, we have thoughts.
Speaking of, did you correct that graphic?
Not yet, because I haven't gone back to it.
Make a note. I gotta proof watch that before it goes out.
Okay.
Just make sure you did it.
Watch our pretty faces. And then, obviously, Monday and Tuesday with some other videos as well. Both good discussions, with one of which has a mic drop moment where we go against the people that irrationally dislike. I'm not going to call them haters, that's not fair, but irrationally dislike.
Stay tuned. Lots of good Trekyards coming up.
I wonder what those actually negative people are saying about this trailer. They're on my feed. I didn't even think to look, because sure they've done some sort of review or something.
I don't even care at this point.
Well,
the fandom menace kind of imploded, and they were like fighting with each other not that long ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
And nobody cares, because I certainly don't.
I mean, who's surprised that people that peddle hate, if they
hating each other?
Yeah, it's like it is. It's war. My enemy is my friend. But when very strong personalities, against each other.
See, and here at Trekyards, we look at the good and bad. So I know all the good and bad in Samuel. And, so.
Okay, they did do a video. Yeah, they have done. Although it's not on there.
All right.
But yeah, good to see you guys. You'll see us tomorrow. We won't see you.
Yeah. Later tonight, I want just a hangout podcast. It's not even a real podcast. It's just hanging out. It's like, I don't know if I want to go, but.
Oh, who's it with? Pimp if you do go.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if I can find it. Hold on. Where the hell is this thing?
Although I'll briefly just say while you look for that, I'm happy to report that I've been working on on and off obviously, because it's Trekyards work, but I'm almost completed with the CGI, the space shots for my next Trek short. I can confirm. I'll be sending someone a little test clip to see. I've filmed most of it. Haven't filmed all of it, but filmed most of it. I've got some of the backgrounds, but I invented a few more ones, which obviously slows things down a little bit. But it's exciting though. So yeah, there you go. Trek shorts if you're interested, and it's a brand new one that no one knows about because I invented a new one because of practicalities.
Cool.
So it's another short, and some of the CG I'm very pleased with because I've never done it before. But if you like DS9, you'll be like,
There you go, guys. And Joe Grimes puts in another 20 pounds, even though he already had the last super chat slot. Final clip in my gun, guys. Oof. Oh no, Snoopy McQueen sniped you with $5. Why can they not create anything new? Because everything's been done already. Like, that's the thing. Every idea is a different variation of an older idea because everything's been done at this point.
Well, especially in a universe of canon where you're using all this history and everything builds upon history. Why can't we make new politicians or new, statues or new whatever, where everything's based on where we come from? So, it's about creating new stories in the future using existing ideas, but tell them in a new way. Have you seen Lower Decks? Brilliant. So it's and what is new anyway? Like, if you reinvent the wheel and make new Klingons, well, if you're lucky they're good design. If they're terrible design, people hate them because they're awful new. Like, new is relative. you know, what it's like why fix something's not broken, you know, why you know new is relative, but Lower Decks was new and it worked. So sometimes new can just work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the podcast I'm on tonight is 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's Starfleet After Dark.
Yes.
On Steve Parmley's channel for the International Fan Club of Star Trek.
Super.
So there you go. I'll be hanging out there, and so we'll see you there, I guess.
Super duper. So until next
time. And Snoopy.
time. No.
Snoopy, you won this last Super Chat slot, so until next time.
Until
He's
next
Commander
time.
Calkins.
And he's got a Foley.